So while some NFL teams are working through OTAs and preparing for training camp and ultimately the NFL season, some of them have literally zero clue who their starting quarterback is going to be, and with each passing day, it's getting a little bit more concerning for reasons I'll dive into in today's video. But before I do, I've got to talk about the longtime owner of the Indianapolis Colts sadly passing away, additional changes that came out of the spring league meetings, and more right after. Alright, first up, longtime Colts owner and CEO Jim Irsay sadly passed away yesterday at just 65 years old. At this time, no cause of death has been disclosed, but it was reported that he passed away peacefully in his sleep yesterday afternoon. Irsay's health had been under question for the past couple of years, with him making less and less public appearances. Also, he did not attend the NFL meetings in March or the most recent one just this week, nor was he present during the NFL draft. So something has most likely been going on behind the scenes for a little while now. Of course, there's been a bunch of speculation going around as to what actually happened. 65 years of age is pretty young, all things considered, and some wonder if his longtime battle with addiction played a possible role, but at this point in time, that's merely speculation, pretty insensitive, and really impossible to know until they release details. What I do know is Irsay's been outspoken about his battle with addiction publicly over the years, and the Irsay family has donated more than $25 million to organizations dedicated to mental health and addiction work, which is incredible. Everyone that was close to Irsay, both personally and professionally, had nothing but great things to say about him as well. From several NFL organizations, Pat McAfee, Peyton Manning, Roger Goodell, Clark Hunt, Tony Dungy, Chuck Pagano, Adam Vinatieri, and the list goes on and on and on. I thought this story in particular was really telling of who Jim Irsay was behind the scenes. Eric Burkhart, an NFL agent who used to represent a former Colts player, shared this on X, saying years ago, said player had lost a family member. Irsay personally called him to give him his condolences and even offered to pay for the funeral. They graciously declined, but Jim's right-hand man called and insisted they let Jim pay for it. His only condition was that it wasn't made public. I think it goes to show the kind heart that he had, and that same right-hand man told the agent in confidence, quote, "Jim does so many incredible things like this on his own and without credit. Last year alone, he paid for hundreds of funerals." That's just one story of many, and moving forward, it looks like ownership of the team is expected to be transferred to his three daughters, who each already have an ownership title and active roles within the organization. Irsay had been on record in the past saying, "We're keeping 100% of the team, and I'm passing it on to my children." So I'm definitely happy to hear the Colts will be staying in the Irsay family for at least another generation. Jim inherited the Colts back in 1997 after his father died, and he became the youngest owner in the NFL at that time. Well, since taking over in 1997, he helped steer the Colts to 16 playoff berths, 2 Super Bowl appearances, and 1 Lombardi trophy back in 2006. All that to say, he will be remembered by many, and may he rest in peace. Next up, Roger Goodell announced yesterday at the league meetings that the Buffalo Bills will be participating in the training camp version of Hard Knocks, which premieres on August 5th. And then the in-season version of Hard Knocks will cover all 4 NFC East teams. So the Eagles, Cowboys, Commanders, and Giants. For the Bills, this is actually their first time being selected for the show. In years past, they could have opted out because they've made the playoffs multiple years in a row, but they actually changed that rule this offseason, which opened the door for the Bills to be picked. They've made the postseason 6 years in a row, so yeah, no chance they would have participated in years prior. The only teams now that are ineligible to be selected for Hard Knocks training camp are teams with a first-year head coach, those who have appeared on the show within the last 8 years, or teams that are already a part of the in-season version of Hard Knocks. I personally think this has a chance to be pretty entertaining with the Bills. You've got Josh Allen, Keon Coleman is going to be a hilarious watch, then maybe we'll even get to hear one of Sean McDermott's famous 9/11 speeches. Just joking about that part. Maybe. As for the in-season version of the show, that should also be pure cinema, as you've got the reigning Super Bowl champion Eagles, the Commanders, who are fresh off of an NFC Championship appearance with Jaden Daniels heading into year 2, then the Cowboys, who will always draw an audience and give you some entertainment along the way, and then there's the little Giants, but even they have some entertaining players rostered, including Russell Let's Ride Wilson, who most likely starts out as QB1 this year. Anyway, the in-season Hard Knocks will premiere in December, and I'm definitely looking forward forward to both that version and the training camp one. And then this is pretty cool. The NFL is reportedly creating a new award strictly for offensive linemen. It's called the Protector of the Year Award and will be given to the league's best O-lineman, which will be voted on by a number of former offensive linemen that played in the league. Apparently, Bills tackle Deion Dawkins and Andrew Whitworth were a couple of people who were really pushing for the idea, and I think it's pretty sweet that the big guys up front will get some love in the awards now, and I'm very curious to see who's going to take home the first trophy this upcoming season. Someone whose offensive lineman will be all trying to block in 2025, good luck with that, is Lions edge rusher Aidan Hutchinson, who's been recovering from that fractured fibula he suffered last October. Well, he spoke with the media today and revealed that he's been fully cleared for all football activities, which is really great news. He said he's actually been cleared for a while now, he's glad to be back, and is starting to feel like himself again. The rehab process was very tough, but he had no real setbacks and always knew he would be back. Before that gruesome injury, he had 7.5 sacks and 7 tackles for loss in just 5 games. He missed over half the season and still led his team in sacks, which is actually kind of sad, but that's why they need him back out there. The Lions definitely ended the season more banged up than anybody else as they finished the year with 16 players on IR and 13 of them being defensive players. But with Hutchinson and others coming back healthy, plus the signing of DJ Reed and then drafting Tyleik Williams in the first round, I think this defense could be very dominant next season if they stay healthy and all goes according to plan. It's also worth noting that if Hutchinson comes back strong, he could cash in on a big contract extension because he's on the last year of his rookie deal. They did pick up his 5th-year option for the 2026 season, a no-brainer move, but he can still get an extension done most likely next offseason if he bounces back strong. From here, let's talk a little quarterback news. The Steelers seem like their plan all along has been to very patiently wait for Aaron Rodgers to make a decision, and apparently Aaron Rodgers' plan has been to not tell anyone if and when he wants to sign with the team. He recently appeared on the Joe Rogan Experience, his podcast, and since the interview was over 3 hours long, I thought his future in the NFL would come up at least once, but no sir. Instead, they talked about all these subjects that you can see up on the screen. Well, we are getting closer and closer to week 1 of the NFL season, and we still have no word from Rodgers on what his future holds. Back on April 1st, Steelers owner Art Rooney said that the team will wait not forever, but a little while longer for Aaron Rodgers. Then yesterday on his way out of the owners' meetings, he said the same thing, a little while longer when asked about it. If I had to guess, I still think Rodgers signs with Pittsburgh once all is said and done. I think the Steelers think that too, because why else would they roll into a season with Mason Rudolph, Will Howard, and Skylar Thompson on their depth chart? Sure, at some point you're going to have to just hunker down with the quarterbacks you've got and move forward if this guy doesn't make up his mind. OTAs start next week after all, and mandatory minicamp is in June, so I'm sure the team is all hoping they can get Rodgers signed so he can start to get familiar with his new teammates and integrated into the system. But at 41 years old, with 20 off seasons under his belt, he may just be thinking, let me enjoy my time off and I'll sign before training camp and we'll get this show on the road. And staying with the quarterback news here, Saints quarterback Jake Haener reportedly suffered an oblique strain at the end of practice yesterday and is now expected to miss a couple of weeks. He might miss the rest of OTAs, but he's expected to be back for the start of training camp, and head coach Kellen Moore said he doesn't think it's a drastic missed opportunity for Haener, adding he will have plenty of opportunities as they go into training camp to continue to build. With that said, I still think most would view him as the clear number 3 behind Tyler Shuck and Spencer Rattler, unless they signed Aaron Rodgers. That's probably not happening, but you never know. Shuck, though, was taken 40th overall in this year's draft, and with him turning 26 in September, he's believed to be as pro-ready as a second-round rookie can be. As for Rattler, he started 6 games last season, losing all 6, and throwing for just 4 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. He was just a rookie last year, though, and was really thrown to the wolves after Derek Carr missed time with multiple injuries. But Carr has since retired, which is still weird to think about, pretty surprising, and the Saints are left desperately trying to find his replacement, both for this season and hopefully the foreseeable future. Rattler certainly looks very comfortable out there right now at OTAs, according to local beat reporters, but let's see what happens as time goes on. Now, regardless of who their quarterback is, that O-line needs to hold up in protection as they graded out 32nd in their pass block grade per PFF in 2024. Well, they are going to attempt to reshuffle that line around quite a bit since they drafted offensive tackle Kelvin Banks Jr. in the first round of this year. He's looking to be their left tackle. Then they are moving Trevor Penning from right tackle to guard, and then switching Taliese Fuaga from left tackle to right tackle, which is what he primarily played in college anyway. But hey, that's all I have for you today. Let me know your thoughts on some of this in the comments down below. And with that, I'll see y'all next time.